I don't know that I have any particular case that changed the way I practice law, but I certainly have had people in my life who have changed the way I look not only at the law but at many things. Nathan Bedell was my mentor when I came out of law school. I was very fortunate to be offered a job at the Bedell firm, which was and still is a very prestigious trial firm. Nathan was an incredible gentleman, and I was fortunate to be assigned to him because he let me do things. And we were down the courtroom within a year and a half trying cases, and that was unheard of for a young lawyer at the Bedell firm. I learned from Nathan that the most critical thing about being a lawyer is to be yourself and to be genuine. I'd gone to all the seminars, and they were very generous with me, sending me to colleges to learn trial skills and all that sort of thing. And I thought I knew what it meant to be a lawyer. It's supposed to be bombastic and and loud and have all this energy and drama and all that. Nathan was none of those things. In the courtroom, he was always understated, very professional. He was not dramatic at all. Sometimes I was just terrified. How's this jury going to bring us a verdict? Because, Nathan gets up and says, it's in your hands and whatever you think is right, and wouldn't really ever ask for any specific thing. All the wrong things. And he got such wonderful results because the jury loved him, they trusted him, he was sincere, he was confident, he was thorough. And so I learned a lot of lessons from Nathan about what being a really good lawyer is about, and the preparation that he required. He was always polite, but required was incredible. One story I like to tell to give you some sense, and the young lawyers today could never fathom this. When I first came to the firm, I was assigned to a railroad crossing case. And within the first couple of weeks, I sat down with Nathan and he gave me some assignments. And my first assignment, he said, I want you to go to the library. I want you to research all the railroad crossing cases. I want you to read all the railroad crossing cases and do me a memo. So I went to the library, spent about a week and a half, came back, and I had all the railroad cases bound together, did a memo, and I categorized the cases by crossbuck cases or signalized cases, horn cases, you name it, different types of cases. And I was really proud. And so I brought it, and this is back then, we don't have computers. Everything has to be typed by hand and dictated. Anyway, so I brought it in to Nathan, and he looked at it, and he looked up to me, and he said, and he obviously wasn't pleased. And I said, what's wrong, Mr. Bedell? He says, I said I wanted all the railroad cases. These are just the Florida cases. And so I went back to the library and got in the Decennial Digest and started looking at cases all over the country. The idea of a young lawyer being assigned to spend 2 or 3 weeks to go research all the cases in the country would be unheard of. But I tell you what, I learned an awful lot, not just about railroad crossing cases, but those cases are fact intensive, and I learned a tremendous amount about evidence, and really came up with a lot of kind of new and different ideas as I would see how things were done in other states. So it was an incredible experience working there, working for him, and that really shaped my life.